Good morning to me. This is what I'm dealing with today. I'm going to do a little bit more discussion on what it's like in the snow in the Touring Insight. Now, kind of hard to tell. It looks like we've got a couple of inches here. And it seems like, well, it is a wet snow. I was thinking it was a light snow, but it isn't. Ruby's nice and comfy in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out in this. Normally I would snow throw, but it's supposed to snow for another 4 hours. So we're probably going to end up with a total of 6 to 8 inches. So this is what I'm dealing with pulling out. Now that's not a lot of snow. And any front wheel drive car should be able to handle it. So shouldn't be a problem. And I'm going to give you ideas of what the drive is like and try to give you guys a little bit more info on what it's like to be driving in a Touring. It's going to be a little different than the EX. Should be very similar. But the EX has the Goodyear Energy Saver AS tires. And those are on Big Blue here. And while they may look good and so forth, the true fact of the matter is especially on Big Blue, those tires are a disaster in snow. The Pro Contacts on Ruby are a little bit better. So, wish me luck, and we'll see how it goes. Now, to show you setting, I usually keep my vent settings during snow like that. Passive heating is not usually a great idea when it's actively snowing. I've said this before. You need to keep your windshield as warm as possible. And if it's real heavy, even warmness, you're going to get icing on your wipers. So here we are, getting ready to take off, and we're going to see how it goes. All right, here we go. We're going to pull straight out. Normally, as I said, my rear's already nasty. Normally, I would have cleared this stuff out, but it is what it is. Yeah. This car does not like this. It's the tires. So we're going to see how we catch on. All right. We got enough momentum. It's not going to be a problem pulling out in regular snow like this. So that's not an issue. Auto wipers may not be the way to go when you're going slow. And you can see a little slipping there. Yep. She's sliding all over the place. Well, actually, just the wheels are spinning, and I'm not pressing too hard. If I pressed, not too bad there. I got some speed there. And the auto wipers are not acting right this second, so we're just going to put them on standard. And we're going to turn on the heat. And we're going to set it at, start at 74, and then I can lower it as things warm up. Now, I'm going to be cresting a small hill, just to give you an idea. When it comes to traction with the Pro Continentals, sliding already, barely touching. I mean, I'm touching, I can slow if I go slow, but if I hit harder, sliding. So, I mean, this is not really a fair comparison. The roads are pretty messy, and you figure a lot with, but if you had snow tires, you probably would not slide anywhere close to that easily. So these tires are definitely not really all that great in the snow. But we all knew that anyway. Now I'm going to probably be editing a lot of this and jumping into positions as I go. Can you use your cruise control? Yeah, I guess once you get into a steady drive. Probably not here, and I think I went the wrong way anyway. Well, I can turn up here because I'm going to take the highway today. I don't like driving on the back roads in this kind of weather. For obvious reasons that those roads usually, well, I mean, these are main roads, and they're still pretty nasty. And while they are clearing them, there's a limit to how much they're willing to clear, even in the middle of the day, and how much they can clear when the snow is coming down. It's a relatively heavy snow, big flakes and so forth, and it is sticky. I thought it was much lighter snow, but I was able to pull out without any real problems. Those in the EX would probably be able to pull out just fine too. Again, your traction is going to vary. Now, simple takeoffs, not a problem. Hill climbing is also not going to be a massive problem. because I don't think the snow is really has compacted into ice yet. But you can see I'm already getting smearing on my windshield. And that's because the car hasn't heated yet. But it's clearing up, so I'm just panicking like I always do. I'm just trying to give a general idea of snow driving, again, in this car. Any other thoughts I have? As I said, this isn't like a massive snow, but it is snowing. And we are due for 5 to 8 inches, so this is a real snow. It is a bit wet and thick, so, you know, like I said, passive heating is really not an option when it's actively snowing like this most of the time. Otherwise, you'll get freezing on your wipers, and you'll end up smearing on your windscreen, which will happen even if you blow directly up there as well. What I'm going to do is I am going to use my cruise control, and I'm going to set it at the longest distance. Gives me the most distance. I'm usually really careful at this. Again, don't rely on it too heavily, especially in snow. Its idea of when to brake may be a lot different than what these tires can actually handle. The system, though, is very quick to disengage and beep at you to let you know when you're suffering slides. Also, as soon as this guy moves, we'll see if it's just going to slip the wheels. It starts nice and slow. It hits the gas, and nope, it's doing okay. Use your better judgment. Use your best judgment, assuming you have any. And here, already start the braking ahead of time. Way ahead. So this stuff can be very, very dangerous, and this car it's doable in snow, guys. I mean, it's just like any other front-wheel drive car. It does okay in snow. It should get you there. But this is not a vehicle, at least not with these tires, that I would be driving around in heavy, deep snow. Now, being from the Northeast, obviously, we get a lot of plowing, a lot of salting. So they do take care of their roads sometimes. So the roads are generally, gee, thank you, just what I needed. What a cocknobbler. What a weenie. I hate weenies, especially if they're slapped on my cheek. I don't like them slapped on my cheek. That's very disrespectful. I feel for you ladies. You got the guys that like to slap their weenies on you. It's not cool. Never like that. No, I mean, come on. Most people are going to find driving this is going to be pretty standard. Consider it it's slush. And you really should drive. Keep yourself a good distance with other cars. Slow way ahead of time, because this car will will slide easily in this kind of stuff. Then again, most cars without snow tires will do this. And the snow tires just give you better traction, because it's got so many channels to push all that water and slush away. So this is generally city driving in the Honda Insight. But I just want to show you some general city driving and any other thoughts. And the most important thoughts is brake early and lightly. And look ahead of what people are going to do. Don't assume they know what they're doing, and always assume they're getting ready to stop. You know, you don't have to drive like a maniac, but show some freaking common sense. There we go. Radar's already obstructed. I guess I'm not surprised. I have to use regular cruise control, which I'm going to switch to now. So when I get onto the expressway, I can at least set a speed, because I do not want to have my hand. I like some of my automation running. It is nasty out, I will tell you that. It is definitely very nasty out. Alright. Turn on the video now. The road is nasty. It is dangerous out there. And this car is all over the road. Now, I can't even use the regular cruise control going at a constant speed, because the car was sliding all over the road. And then after that, the car just kind of, I mean, it finally got to the point where everything was sliding so much that the car finally just decided to to disengage the cruise control, which obviously, I mean, it was losing traction, and the tires just can't do traction in the middle of a snowstorm with roads in this condition. And these roads are a mess. A lot of noise coming from the underneath of the car. As you can see, there's crud in the center of the road. You know, people are driving, they're pushing the snow out of the way. In the center, it gets a little higher. And while it's not really touching, it's blowing up on the bottom of the, it's shooting up into the bottom of the car, being very loud and very obnoxious. And I'm very much, why are you trying? All right, it looks like Trump was trying to cross in the middle of the highway. No, he's just walking on the edge, and he's crazy enough to be walking on the edge too, but whatever. You know, when you have a low car like the Honda, then it's a mess and this kind of stuff. And I actually got a little on the scary side driving through it. So I'm going to tell you right now, if you're going to drive through stuff like this, and you're going to have to do it for 3 months of the year, and you don't have a choice, you have to go to work. You know, you can't miss work. It's just not even a, you have no sick time, you miss work, you're going to get your ass fired. You need to invest in snow tires for this car. You really do. This kind of stuff is no fun to drive in with the tires that come in this car. And I'm using the Pro Continental. I don't know, they get slightly higher ratings in snow than the EX's Michelin Energy Saver AS, which I have personal experience with, but not on this car. And they get lower ratings, and they're, oh God, are they awful in the snow, as far as I'm concerned. So we're going to see how the expressway is. It should be a little clearer, but I'm not holding my breath. The road was basically pretty bad. The drive home is going to be a lot better. You see, I'm going through this turn. I'm going about 25 miles per hour. Holding just fine. But 25 miles per hour, well, pretty much the speed you're supposed to go. Most people would be going 35 or 40. Well, 35. It's a pretty hard turn. Now let's see where the expressway is at. So I don't think this car falls under any category any different than any average low car that's relatively low to the ground, that's front wheel drive. The only negative is going to be the kind of tires it uses, and most of them are going to have tires that are kind of mediocre to begin with. Are going to be pretty mediocre to begin with, because they're going to be all-season tires, and they're not necessarily the really most expensive tires, especially in this price range of car. And they're not made for this kind of weather. They're mostly, even if they're Grand Touring tires, they're just not good for this kind of crap. And even now, driving through this, I can feel a fair amount of friction on the car. Let me get rid of it. I'm going to dismiss that. I feel a fair amount of friction coming from the tires, and I know if I had to do any quick, God, my voice, any quick maneuvering, I'd be all over the road. But I don't think that's any different than most vehicles. Simple moral of the story. If you live in the Northeast and you're going to drive through this crap, you need to have snow tires. And on the inside, you need to have snow tires. That was just lane departure. I thought I was sliding, and it's just lost the lines, and it thought I was departing the lane, and the steering wheel's shaking, and I thought, oh my God, I'm sliding, I'm going to die on camera. I think you guys would enjoy that a little, and just get yourself some snow tires, guys. This is terrible crap to drive through. Well, this is a pointless video, just more drivel about what's going on when you drive in the snow. Buy snow tires, guys. You're going to drive in this crap and you have to do it a lot. Buy your damn snow tires. Simple as that. Take care.